Shoot. Mic check 1 2. Mic check. Mic check. Okay. All right. What's good? We're good. What's up? What's up, guys? How's it going? What is going on? What is up, Philip Carter Harris? What's going on? Tuesday, November the 10th. Obviously, it is press conference day. It is press conference day. It is press conference day, guys. What is up? November the 10th, Tuesday. Taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. 843-790-3377. What is going on, guys? What is up? Sorry, just tweeting some stuff out. Obviously, a lot to get into today. Again, would love to take your questions, comments. We will have the Will Muschamp presser at 12:30. I will be sharing that. But until then, again, taking your questions, comments, calls, I will go ahead and open up the phone lines. Go ahead and open up the phone lines, guys. Let's light it up today here on a Tuesday. Hope everybody's having a good day. It is Masters Tuesday as well. Don't forget, it is Masters Week. Very exciting. We're creeping closer and closer to the first round. I'm pumped for it. I love golf. I love the tournament. So, yeah, phone lines are open. And I will put the number here, 843-790-3377. You guys want to talk about any comments from today, game this weekend, potential head coaching candidates, whatever you like. Whatever you like, I'm open to it. So. So let's see. Cody Gaskins, who's the coach to get us over this hump and get us to Atlanta and possibly a playoff berth? It's crazy. I had this conversation with Alex McGrath yesterday for the show today that dropped. And by the way, if you haven't done so, check out the podcast that dropped this morning. But it's so funny because that's the way you want to think, like which is the coach that's going to get us back to the SEC title competing for Atlanta. At this point, I just want South Carolina football to be fun again. So I just want Carolina football to be fun again. So we're going to go ahead and take our first call. Hey, what's up, man?
What's up, Chris?
How's it going? Doing well. How are you?
Doing good. We got this weekend is a really big game. We got to stop Matt Corral.
Yeah. We're gonna have trouble doing that too, I think.
I mean, our quarterbacks are. I mean, last year team, we could have stopped him, but this year it feels like Lane Kiffin got that offense rolling, and they throwing up 500, 600 yards a game.
Yeah, I mean the over/under total in Vegas too, by the way, is 70.5. So they're expecting points to be scored, and I mean Lane Kiffin's one of the best offensive minds in football, and yeah, I mean it's going to be. I know you feel good about your DBs and all that, but over the long stretch of the game, man, I just Ole Miss is going to get theirs. So you're going to have to score 40 to win this game. You're going to have to. So if you don't,
the offense that I've seen in the past 2 weeks, we won't score 10 points to get them against them. I mean, I know their defense isn't what they want to be, but I mean their offense is damn near unstoppable. I mean, I really don't think Clemson's defense could hold them to just 40 points.
Right.
I mean, I think that is the best offense I've seen in college football in a very long time.
Yeah, no, I mean, they've got weapons all over the place, and I mean, again, it's I've talked before. This really isn't a game that South Carolina is built to win as far as a shootout, and it's unfortunate, but it's I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just it's hard to even honestly talk about the game this weekend right now with everything else going on with the coaching stuff and Yeah, so it's going to be a challenge, man. I mean, obviously, again, the total's at 70.5 in Vegas, and there's a reason. And I think South Carolina, you like your DBs, and we feel like there's talent on that defense. And, I think there is, but I think over the long haul, over the long stretch, man, I don't know how South Carolina is going to hold up for 4 quarters. So,
yeah, I mean, it's just I really don't see South Carolina even. I mean, I know their defense isn't that good, but if we get in a shootout, they're going to beat us by 4 or 5 touchdowns. I mean, at least by 40 points. I mean, they're going to blow us out, just like Texas A&M did, and just like LSU. I mean, going into the LSU game, plus you. I mean, we all had South Carolina beating LSU. I mean, we thought we were going to come in there, blow the bricks off of LSU, and then true freshman quarterback makes his first start and looks like a damn Heisman candidate.
Yeah, and like I said, you're taking on a really capable Ole Miss offense, so I think it's going to be a long night, man. Unfortunately, we'll see. I mean, I'm excited to dive in a little deeper and break down Ole Miss later this week, but just on paper, it's going to be a challenge. But appreciate the call, man, for sure.
All right, no problem.
Thanks. I know I missed your call. Whoever you are from Newberry that's called in like 3 times, you're welcome to call back in. Somebody asked, by the way, what is the whiteboard message? As you can see here, it says Couch Coach and Karen. And the reason it says that, I don't know if you haven't checked social media or haven't seen the quote. Nick Muse today, and I want to get the exact quote because I surely don't want to misquote the Gamecocks tight end. Nick Muse saying today on the criticism that the team is getting. Let's see. Nick Muse says he reads almost everything that's said about the team and he thinks it's funny. Calls those who take shots at the team, quote, Karen and, quote, couch coaches because he says they think they know more than their coaches. So I guess I'm a couch coach and I'm a Karen. So I'm just going to own my title and it is what it is. And, I'm a couch coach and a Karen. I also don't pretend to know more than Will Muschamp or Mike Bobo or any coach on staff, but I'm a couch coach. Heck, I only scored 3 points less than the Gamecocks offense did on Saturday night. So, but hey, I'm going to own the title. I'm a couch coach. I'm a Karen. It is what it is. So, we want to start attacking fans now. We can all play that game. We'll jab back and we'll have some fun. It's all in good fun, right? So, I mean, hey, I'm just going to own my title. If that's what I am, that's what I am. I'll put that label on myself. So it's all good. So I appreciate you, Nick Muse, for that piece of content you gave us here on a Tuesday. Anyways, coming up at 12:30, Will Muschamp presser upcoming. A lot of comments, obviously, today. You think there will be some pretty interesting questions coming out of the press conference. Again, taking your questions, comments, and calls up to that point, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Again, if you just called in from Newberry and I missed it, please do call back in. Like I said, I'm trying to get to as many calls as I can, but obviously I try to not cut people off too much. Anthony Diller, can we expect to see any changes on offense and defense with personnel philosophy? They have to find some kind of spark. Can't expect any difference in the scoreboard if changes aren't made. I mean, yeah, I would be shocked if you're not going to see a change at the quarterback position. I don't know how much philosophy changes, but I think just changing the overall quarterback position, I think, is something that you definitely will see. And then defensively, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what changes you can make or will make going in this Ole Miss game because I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know what you can change. I really don't know. I really don't know. So, let's see. Zachary Mobley, do you really think we'll have a quarterback change? I just think you have to at this point. I've talked about it over and over again. I just think I hate to say change something up for the sake of changing something up, but you're kind of at that point. You're kind of at that point where you have to switch up something. You know what I mean? So, again, I do not pinpoint all the Gamecocks problems on Colin Hill, but especially after the way he played against Texas A&M, roll the dice. Why not? See what maybe somebody else can, if nothing else, give you a spark. Maybe a different voice in the huddle, a different voice for the football team. And we've seen it happen with teams before, right? Where it can give teams a spark. So why not? You got to try something. So definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. Dang, you know what we should make? We should make T-shirts. couch coach and fat dad in the stands, because he also said that. His dad says he's just a fat dad in the stands. We ought to make T-shirts that say that. Couch coach, fat dad in the stands, and Karen. Yep. Just own it. Why not? Just own it. You got to love that, don't you? I mean, I'm trying to not get too worked up about it, but man, I tell you what, I don't give a damn if you're a player, you're a coach, you're an administrator. Going after the fans, that's the shittiest move you can make. And hey, I'm sure you guys saw on social media, hey, I'm sure they're watching. Will Muschamp tuned into the Daily Crow yesterday. I'm sure Nick Muse is tuned in. I'm sure other players are tuned in. Maybe former players are tuned in. If you want to take shots directly at me, fine. That's cool. But taking shots at the fans, man, that's a shitty move. I don't give a damn who you are. It's just bullshit, dude. Like, give me a break. Give me a break, dude. Come on. Anyways. Rick Beatty, where are we with the coaching change? Wait till December, save $2 million, but may lose commits. Bro, losing commits is the least of the concerns for anybody. That should be the absolute furthest thing removed from your mind. Dude, I got to trim my freaking beard, by the way. Got a little nose hair right here, a little hair right here. It's random. I think Muschamp, if things continue to go the way they're going, he's fired by end of season. I don't see any way he's going to make it through this. So, because where there's smoke, there is fire. And so, I do believe there's enough smoke there to believe that changes are imminent if things don't improve quickly. So, let's see. Again, taking your questions, comments, calls at 12:30. We will have the Will Muschamp presser upcoming. We will have the Will Muschamp presser. I'll be live streaming it here. So, let's see. Yep, I'm literally probably after this live stream going to make a Couch Coach Karen t-shirt. Even if it's just for me, I'm going to make it. Hey, Eric, what's going on, man?
Hey, look, I spent 20 years in the service, and we were always taught there's no such thing as a bad boat crew. Only bad boat crew leaders. Every one of those men that suits up on Saturday is worthy of a position on an SEC football team. Period. None of us can debate that. There's no such thing as bad players.
Yeah. I mean, do you think Bob Caslin thinks the same? Obviously, you said you were in the service, which I want to say, by the way, I appreciate, your service, obviously, but I wonder.
No.
Bob Caslin with that.
No, Chris, thank you and thank everybody listening for paying my salary while I got to do something that I loved.
Do you think that Bob Caslin thinks similarly to like what you're saying?
I don't know his background.
Right.
I would probably have to have dinner with the man to assess. I'm hoping that's what he's thinking. And what's sad is up until Saturday night, I was one of Will Muschamp's biggest defenders. But, I mean, after what I've seen on the field the last two times, Chris, God, we've got some of the best athletes in the country, and we're not putting them in a position to succeed.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's a disconnect somewhere, I think. I feel like we have good players. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we have good players. So, there's a disconnect, and I think we all know where it is. So,
I hate to admit that I was wrong, but I love the man to death personally, but sometimes you just got to cut the dead weight loose. And that was another thing they taught us. I can't replace you. I can replace your gear.
Yeah.
If you get in trouble, cut your gear. We'll buy you new stuff. We'll give you hell over it, but, I can replace your gear with a check. And to replace your body, it takes me 8-9 months of training.
Right.
So that's my 2 cents, and it kills me to have to say that, but
yeah,
it's not the kids. I promise you, it's not the kids. And I say kids because I'm an older man.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure. I agree with you. Hey, Eric, great stuff, man. Appreciate you calling in for sure. I feel your pain. Trust me.
Oh, we're going to Oxford, Mississippi this weekend.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. All right. Wow. Well,
so I will be there in the stands, crossing my fingers and praying that something changes.
Yeah. Well, it's like I said at the tailgate this past weekend, man, and I'll tell you the same. Cheers to either a Gamecock victory or getting one step closer to a new head coach. So that's really, I think that's kind of the way you have to approach it at this point.
Hey, win, lose, or draw, my blood runs garnet, period.
Yep. No, for sure. Love to hear it. Eric, again, man, thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Yeah, great show, Chris.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Yep, good stuff. Good stuff there from Eric Fryer. Phil, if you want to call back in, let's see. Shit, trying to type something. All right, anyways, guys, taking your questions, comments, calls. Got about 15 minutes or so until Will Muschamp's presser. Phil Harris, I know he called in. Here, I'll give you a call back, actually.
Chris, how you doing?
Phil, what's up, man? How are you?
Pretty good, brother.
Yeah, I was doing really well. I'm still doing really well, but I was pretty calm coming into this live stream today until I saw Nick Muse's comments and got my blood pumping a little bit. So I'm trying to deal with that right now. But other than that, I'm great.
Listen, I mean, God bless him. He's one of our players. He's on scholarship. He's a student. He's a young man.
He's an amateur. Let's throw that. He's an amateur. No question. He's an amateur.
He's an amateur, not a professional. So there's a huge difference. You know, we don't throw criticism at the players. I think it's a very classless thing to do. But if you're jabbing the fans after that performance at LSU and at home against Texas A&M, I mean, I don't know where to start on that deal. We have a right to vocalize our opinions and our frustrations at this coaching staff. Will, I know you're watching. So I just want to put it to you this way, man. In Facebook terms, we were in a relationship, but now it's complicated.
Well, and I think what bothers me more than anything is to know that if, players are a reflection of their coach. I mean, I've obviously been on a team, been in a locker room, and you're going to reflect the personality that your coach takes on in most cases. And if that's what's being vocalized by the players, which again, I hold nothing. I have no issues with Nick Muse. And obviously, I mean, I'm nothing but a supporter and hope he balls out the rest of the season. But if that's what's being vocalized by the players, then it has to be, in my mind, what wedge is being driven in between the team and the fan base behind closed doors. That's what irritates me. That has to be the message at that point. So
absolutely. I wanted to run something by you in terms of, it's just a matter of when at this point that Muschamp is let go with his $15 million big Publishers Clearinghouse check out the door. The big thing after that is who is the next guy. Man, it is crucially important. Like, it is so important to get the right guy in. I don't want anybody with baggage. I know that's going to be a hard thing to do. I want somebody that's been at a successful program where they've turned it around. He's been a head coach before and has done more with less.
Right.
That might be a little bit difficult, but I mean, that's all I'm asking for at this point is somebody that can step up to the plate and throw a home run for us here, and that would be great.
Do you have a name in mind, or just you just kind of have like a cat, because I'm kind of the same way. I mean, there's obviously the names that are floating around, but I know what I want to see in the next guy. So I'm more so find that pedigree versus, it has to be this guy or this guy.
I don't have a specific name in mind. I'm a little, I'm raising my eyebrow with Hugh Freeze with all the baggage. Urban Meyer baggage too, man. Like, I don't know about those guys. Les Miles, I know we were talking about him at the beginning of the season, and he's done nothing at
right. No, yeah, I think Les Miles is that name is kind of faded into oblivion. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So, yeah,
One more thing for Nick Muse. God bless him. He's a student athlete, an amateur, but maybe he should focus more on catching the ball instead of looking at what people are posting on social media. Just my personal opinion.
Right. Well, yeah, Phil, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate the thoughts and the comments as always, my dude.
All right. Have a good one. Yeah,
man. Thanks. You too. Go Cox. Yeah. So, I mean, I listen, I know emotions are running high right now and everybody's saying different things. And it's just kind of disappointing, I guess, to, and I'm not saying he was necessarily like attacking or anything, but like, it's a tough look, dude. Like, come on. And if you're wondering what was said, Nick Muse on the criticism, quote, "The Karens and the couch coaches, they know a lot more than our coaches, apparently. My dad has a saying, he can say whatever he wants, but he's just a fat dad in the stands." And I get it. Screw the haters, screw the outside noise. Like, I totally get it, whatever. But at the same time, it's like the fans are going through this hell too, and they've been going through this hell a lot longer than you've been a player, my friend. So, But that's why I was saying, like I said, all in good fun. If you're going to poke at us, you're going to poke at me, I'll poke back. All in good fun. I'm going to embrace my name, embrace my title, and I'll be a couch coach or a Karen. Like I said, I only scored 3 less points than the offense did over the weekend. So, whatever. Oh, man. Anyways, guys, taking your questions, comments, calls. We got about 7 minutes until the presser gets going. So would love to squeeze in any last-minute comments or questions or whatever it may be. Rodney Creel, only a loser brings up past success when questioned about current failure. That's like asking my kids why their room is dirty and then giving me the answer it was pretty clean a year ago. Yeah, I equated it to this talking to somebody, I think, on Sunday. It's like if you ever had that buddy or that friend or whoever, maybe it's that person you were in a relationship with or whatever, that loves to remind you about that favor they did you one time, like 3 years ago. And you're like, okay, you've been a shithead ever since, but I appreciate that favor. So, I mean, it's like that person, like trying to bring up the first 3 years successes in year 5 is such a pathetic, desperate move. It screams desperation. It screams a coach that knows he's on the chopping block. You don't say stuff like that if you have job security. So, but granted, when you lose 48-3 at home in year 5, you shouldn't have job security. So, in positive news, guys, Gamecocks women's basketball has been ranked number 1 in the AP poll. How about that? How about that? Love it. Love to see it. Love to see it. SEC football too. What is up, man? Just a fiery Tuesday. That's what it is. A fiery Tuesday. So, DJ Rhodes, when Muschamp is fired, Tanner will be fired also or retire to save face. Hunter Brown, do you think we'd still beat Coastal if we played on Saturday? I tell you what, man, I genuinely at this point don't know. I genuinely at this point do not know, my friend. Let's see. Connor Shaw on field coach. I mean, if he's interested, I'd love to see it. If he's interested, I definitely would love to see it. Let's see. We've got how long? 4 minutes. Yeah, 4 minutes till that goes live. 4 minutes till Muschamp's presser. We will have Muschamp's presser going live here. And guys, taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. We have just a few minutes left. SEC Football 2 getting ready for the game week pod. New pod for basketball. Hey, excited. I'm pumped for basketball season. That's a positive. I'm pumped for basketball season. Tyler Jenkins, what's it going to take to get Urban? I think that's an unrealistic hire. I don't see it happening. Savannah Webster, what do you think about the comments they keep Bobo on staff or as head coach just to save Stockton commit? Hate it. I think that would be the worst move possible. I don't think one recruit. Dude, here's the thing. There's no guarantee if you keep Bobo on that Stockton will 100% come here. Like, you never know. I hate it. No, absolutely hate it. Yep, I'm going to go ahead and get it cut on, guys. Share screen. There we go. Okay. Chrome tab. You guys seeing that? We're good. We're good. Audio should be good once it comes on. We've got it live. We've got it live on, waiting for Will Muschamp to go live here on a Tuesday, November the 10th. Guys, quick reminder before they go live, before Muschamp starts speaking, if you have not done so, check out the podcast that dropped this morning. Alex McGrath and I with a great conversation. Highly suggest you tuning in. Also, reminder, watch party this Saturday at Overtime Bar and Grill. Kickoff at 7:30. Doors actually open at 11. So they'll be open all day if you want to get there early and watch football. But pregame show will be 6:30 to 7. 6:30 to 7 on Saturday night. So just want to let you guys know. But this should be very interesting for sure. So I might need my headphones. Let me go grab it. Okay, just in case. I don't know if my audio was kind of weird last week when we did this. Yo, Will Collins, what is up, man? What is up? Everybody, hope you're doing well. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, a lot to get into, and obviously we have Will Muschamp's media availability coming up here in just a second. So obviously tuned into that. Yeah, I don't, hopefully the questions aren't all just softball questions, but our guys, our media guys, they don't want to lose their credentials. So that's why they'd never give them to me, which I wouldn't want them either way, because credentials are just a muzzle. That's all they are. In case you guys ever want to have that conversation, we certainly can, because I know there's some of you out there that either don't know why or you make up your own assumptions as to why Chris Phillips from the Spurs Up Show doesn't have credentials. They're a muzzle. That's it. Oh, here we go. Okay, I've got audio. Let me know that you guys can hear this, by the way. Let me know that you can hear it.
All right, we are ready to begin with Coach Muschamp. Coach, we'll let you make an opening statement, and then we'll open up for questions.
All ready? Can you hear me? Do you want to hear me? I saw your face, Josh. I appreciate that scowl on your face. Good to see your smiling face, John. You just said that was
scowl. That was just
Fink said I was scowling at Whittle the other night, so I apologize for that. But got Ole Miss Saturday night, SEC Network, 7:30 kick. Thing that jumps out at you once you watch the tape is just overall team speed. They've got a lot of guys that run extremely well. Obviously, offensively, I think they're leading our league right now in most about every category. But the skill position players are really good. Matt Corral's playing really good football, completing over 70% of his passes, and a lot of vertical passing game. Plumlee does a nice job when they bring him in and the different things and how they use him. Jerrion Ely and Connor, the two backs, are really good players. Very difficult guys in space to take down. Elijah Moore, we played against 2 years ago over there, knew as a true freshman he was going to be a fantastic player, but he's a very good slot receiver, punt returner, speed sweep guy. They utilize him in a lot of different ways. Mingo and Drummond, both other guys outside that are good players. And Yibo, the transfer tight end, has been a huge addition to their teams. They're very good in the skill positions. They play with a great tempo. And Lane does a great job of, whether he or Levy are calling plays, both guys do a nice job of attacking you with tempo, but also schematically in matchups. And they do a really good job. So we got our work cut out for us. Aggressive on special teams. They continue to improve on defense. So work cut out for us on Saturday night. And I'll open up for any questions. And I'll say that both quarterbacks, Colin and Ryan, both got equal reps. We have a package for Luke, but with Colin and Ryan being so similar skill set wise, both guys did a good job today. We do not have a timetable on when we will make that decision. It could be up to pregame warm up to see who's spending it best in pregame. So we'll go from there.
All right, we're going to mix it up a little bit and let Rick Henry take the first one today.
All right, thank you, Steve. Hey, Will, Nick Muse told us that he would take a bullet for you. First of all, have you ever had a player say that about you before? And what does it mean to you that your players have your back to that degree and are just very supportive?
Well, I don't think they'd say I was an asshole. We got a game on Saturday, right? But no, we have a great group of young men in that locker room that, I appreciate their support and I support them, and we ride together, and we need to win a football game. That'll make everybody happy.
Ben Brenner?
Just the same shit over and over again, bro.
That's all it is. Quarterbacks, how have you seen them kind of respond and react to having that job opened up again? You mentioned kind of how they practice, but how have they sort of responded off field and I guess also on field with their energy and such? Ben,
I wouldn't say it any differently, because both guys have been, we try to create a competitive atmosphere all the time. And I know Mike does a great job of pushing that position and then having those guys be game ready in all situations. Luke is always really, I wouldn't, maybe for the last month and a half, maybe 6 weeks, has been getting the lion's share of reps at quarterback in his package and the things that we do, trying to bring that along, and we'll continue to do so. And Ryan and Colin have been getting the reps in what we're, I guess you would say, our mainstay offense and what we do. So, but it's been a very competitive room on and off the field, in my opinion. And both guys, I think, are great for each other. Both guys interact very well together. Both guys share information very well together. Both guys won't South Carolina to be successful and win. And they both want to be the starting quarterback. Only one guy can play. But both guys are talented, and we can win with both.
David.
Well, you guys played Ole Miss 2 years ago, and back then they had a real, high-flying offense, but they had a different coach with Matt Luke and now Lane. Have you ever seen that kind of similarity last over a coaching change in terms of how explosive the offense is?
Well, again, Phil Longo was the offensive coordinator, and he did a great job and is doing a really good job at North Carolina. So, I do think that, but with the tempo they play with, there's a little bit more in the run game that Lane presents each week as far as what they do. But there's a lot of, concepts that carry over, especially with the tempo that they play with, and very similar skill set, from a receiver standpoint and a running back. We went over there, and the tight end that we played that day still playing in Buffalo. I don't know where the quarterback is, but he was talented. Matt Corral played that day as a true freshman, and, got tremendous respect for him. He's got arm talent. He can make all the throws. He's got athleticism. He can hurt you with his legs. The running back 22 was a really good football player for him. Elijah Moore was a freshman. A.J. Brown was a senior outside receiver that was a very difficult matchup. So it was again another really talented skill position team.
Eric Boynton.
Eric?
When you hear boos at your home stadium and there's a lot of criticism out there right now, does it help kind of create kind of an us against the world mentality around the program, both in the locker room, at practice, that kind of thing, to change the tenor of your preparation at all? It
really doesn't. At the end of the day, it's, I always tell the guys we can control, and that's our preparation and preparation for Ole Miss, which has got a good football team. So we need to lock in and focus on those things and block out anything, whether it's negative or positive. At the end of the day, when you're winning games and everybody wants to pat you on the back, and that's, that can be a distraction as well.
Joe Gorcha.
Coach, along those same lines, do you stress to the players that they can control the narrative of what happens next? There's 4 games left, so how you play can determine the narrative and what people talk about. And do you emphasize it's what you guys control that determines what people say about you moving forward?
Well, Joe, we say that from day one since I've been here, and that's been a message. Every week is a season, and we've got 4 great opportunities, and the next opportunity is in Oxford, Mississippi, and that's what we're focused on.
Colin Taylor.
Yeah, well, 2 questions for you. I guess as the week continues, will you change reps, whittle down reps if you kind of have an idea of who's going to start before Saturday?
I don't think we want to make that decision until at least after Friday's walkthrough.
And I guess you've talked a bunch this year about the quarterback that's going to give you the best chance to win is going to play. I guess, how do you quantify that in practice? What all goes into evaluating that?
Well, decision-making at the line of scrimmage in the run game, decision-making at the line of scrimmage in protections, decision-making at the line of scrimmage of redirecting the protection, changing the play, whatever the game plan presents itself, completion percentage, being accurate with the football. We'll have a 3rd down period tomorrow, which will be critical for both guys. We'll have a 1-minute period tomorrow or Thursday. We haven't decided yet. That'll be critical for them, how they manage all of the things I talked about earlier in scout periods, crossover periods, and good on good periods. So every play is graded. I mean, we do that, but that's not just now, Colin. That's been every day since we've been going and trying to create competition. And it's not just the quarterback position. We chart production on defense. We grade, every day has a grade of offensive line wise, running back wise, whatever the case may be. But those are the things at the quarterback position we're looking at. And, we'll continue to evaluate that and grade those guys.
Kyle Thomas.
Coach, after the Auburn game, we were 2-2, and since then we've had a 2-game losing streak. What are you doing as a coach, and what is your staff doing to make sure that doesn't turn into a 3-game losing streak?
Well, I mean, we're preparing our football team like we would normally do, and like we did against Vanderbilt, and like we did against Auburn, and obviously the other teams. And we got to play better and coach better on Saturday night.
Mike Yuba.
Well, I'm sure people from the outside, they look at it and it's easy to just look at Colin Hill and just be able to blame him. But when you look at the big picture, of course, it's, the drops, there's some other things going on. Why now? Why look at the decision to make a change now? I try to think back to your first year when you decided to make a change at quarterback when Perry Orth and So why now in terms of just what you've been seeing and maybe not a little bit earlier in the year?
Well, I think that we'd been pretty productive earlier in the year. I didn't think we had more than 150 yards earlier in the year in a ball game, and I think we lacked a spark on Saturday to get things going. And sometimes the change up is at that position. That position can affect more people than any other position on the offensive side of the ball. With the way we're structured offensively, I agree with you. It's not all in that position. We need to play better around that position. We need to have more people step up at the wideout position outside of Shi Smith. We need to continue to take advantage of the tight end position. We need to run the ball better. And there's a lot of things, but we need a spark on offense. That, we averaged 8 yards a play against LSU. We've done some really good things offensively and moving the ball, but we needed a spark. And moving forward, competition hopefully provides that spark.
Chandler Mack.
Hey, Coach. Yeah, kind of touching on what you talked about in the last question. You guys have been outscored 100-27 your past 2 games, and it seemed like you guys had a great flow to your games, even in the Vanderbilt game, and then the Auburn game. You guys had a great flow to the game. And even in the games that you guys lost against Florida and Tennessee, can you just talk to me about what are some of the things you feel the team needs to get back to in order to win? Is it just the quarterback play, or is it run the ball more? Can you talk to us about that?
It's in all 3 phases. You give up 14 points on the road in Baton Rouge when your defense isn't on the field. Your defense doesn't force a punt. It has struggles to stop the run, force them to, we're not very good on 1st and 10. So that creates issues for you on 3rd down defensively. Saturday night we get worn down defensively because we can't stay on the field nor get off the field on defense. So it's a lot of different things that we can improve on, and then we certainly are addressing with our team, and we'll continue to address with our team. But it isn't just quarterback play. We got a lot more issues other than that in the last 2 ball games.
Ben Briner.
Will, this week have you had any conversations with Coach Tanner about just kind of where things stand in the state of the program?
Coach Tanner and I talk all the time about where we are and what we need to do to be successful, and everything's been very positive.
What kind of message did he have for you this week?
Just been very supportive like he's been for the previous 4 years.
John Whittle.
Yeah, with regard to Paul Jackson, now that you have 6 games under your belt, how do you see your team differently this year under him, whether it's from a physicality standpoint, health standpoint, just what has he brought that you've been able to see tangibly over these 6 games to now?
Well, I think that as much as anything, John, the guys embracing the weight room, the mentality of when our guys lift, our non-travel guys and guys that aren't playing a lot of snaps, maybe a guy's traveling, but he's not necessarily playing a lot of snaps. Those guys are getting 3 good lifts in at least during the week. And then the guys that are playing a lot are getting 2 good lifts in a week. And the embrace that they have going in the weight room from that standpoint, I don't even want to bring it up, but we've had less soft tissue issues, knock on wood, than we've had in the last 2 seasons, obviously. As far as those things are concerned, much that's been cut to a great degree. I think a lot of that's the monitoring of the catapult system, the interaction he and I have as far as, where he thinks guys are is where I think guys are. Sometimes as a football coach, you see it different than a strength coach sees it or a trainer sees it. So we've had, very productive conversations, as far as that's concerned, that I think's helped us a lot. So I think Paul does a really good job. I think from a standpoint of, just overall, mentality of your football team and positively affecting guys, does a really good job, and the staff as well.
Dick Cox.
After watching the film, what positive things could you take from Saturday night? And do you think this team, what did they actually learn from their experience Saturday night?
I don't know that we could take much from the film offensively that was positive at all. I do think defensively we were firmer on some blocks. We played better inside than we had played. I thought there were some positives there. And I thought on special teams that we did a good job. Kai Kroger continues to come on for us. I mean, there's positives, Dick. I mean, it's not all negative. But when the score ends up the way it ends up, it's not very good. And that's the bottom line. And it's got to get better.
Mitch Brown.
And I would say, Dick, I'd add to that. I mean, we've kind of moved on, and we have a 24-hour rule around here, and we rehashed all of that technically on Sunday, and we've moved on to Ole Miss. So a lot of it's not fresh in my mind moving forward, other than the things that I know that we've got to get better.
Coach, speaking of moving on, in years past, you've talked about certain iterations of your team having the confidence and the resiliency to be able to bounce back from adversity. What gives you confidence that this team can do that?
I think we have good leadership on the team, and we had a good meeting this morning with those guys about where we are, and I think we're in a good spot mentally, based on, 2 very poor performances back to back, as good as it could be. As far as where these guys are angry, they're upset, and they want to play better. We need to coach better. So it's a two-way street, and we plan on doing both.
Pete Acabelli.
Will, I know you guys got the word from Texas A&M about their COVID tests. Has that had any effect on this team? Have you had to keep some guys out because of quarantine issues or anything like that?
No, Pete. And when I saw that, I guess it was yesterday it came out, I think. Yeah. I saw it and I called Clint Haggard immediately, and he said, we have no issues. It's very similar to the Vanderbilt game. As far as however they compute that, you'd probably have to talk to Clint Haggard for exactly how that's done. All I know is no one's been quarantined.
John Del Bianco.
Yeah, well, do you feel you still have the right combination up front on the offensive line? Do you see any changes, or are the best 5 still out there in your opinion?
Well, Ja'Kai Moore's going to get some more opportunities, to play, and Vershawn Lee continues to come on for us. Jalen Nichols has been continuing to improve. Vinny Murphy. So again, we'll continue to work through, giving some more guys some other opportunities, and we'll settle on some things as the latter part of the week settles in for what we'll do in Oxford.
David Cloninger.
Well, a couple for you. First, will Sterling and Mullins be okay for this week?
I believe so, yeah.
And then you mentioned the other receivers outside of Shai needing to, kind of step up a few times. What has been the biggest reason why no one really has through 6 games?
I think we've given some guys opportunities, and whether it's drop passes or not running, the route the precise way, whether those things are all issues. So we got to catch the ball. Number one. Number two, when your number's called, let's make sure you're precise in what you're doing route wise, and those sort of things are concerned, because that obviously throws off timing for the quarterback in the play. So I think those things are all encompassing, and those are the 2 main issues that we've got. Just be more dependable in what we're doing.
Phil Kornblut.
Yeah. Hey, Will. You went through a difficult finish during your time at Florida. What do you take from that can help you here at South Carolina as you try to work your way through what you're going through?
Win games.
Chandler Mack.
Hey, Coach. Yeah, just kind of talking about the receivers again. Jalen had a big drop in the game. Jalen Brooks had a big drop in the game Saturday night. What has his mindset been over the past couple of days? Has he been more engaged? And receivers as a whole, have they taken more, turns at the jug machine just to make sure that they're precise and they're catching the way they need to?
Well, they're always on the jugs machine. We've amped that up a little bit, but Jalen's going to be fine. Jalen's a good football player, and he's going to have that same opportunity on Saturday in Oxford, and he'll make the catch. He's a good player, and he didn't try and drop it, and it happens. And but he's an outstanding young man. Glad he's in our program, and he'll have some opportunities on Saturday night, and he's going to make those plays.
Mike Yuba.
Well, a couple times this season when you guys have been down in the red zone, I know they've had some rub routes. I'm not trying to get you in trouble in terms of how you're going to answer this, but I know there's been some of those rub routes, those pick routes. In your mind, though, because I know you guys are usually in man coverage, what is the benefit of playing man? And I'm sure that changes week to week and even sometimes play to play in the red zone. But what is the benefit, though, of playing man that keeps creating these situations? Unfortunately.
Well, another thing, and I would go back to Dick's question, is, we had 3 opportunities in the first half to make stops in the red zone and make them kick field goals in all critical 3rd down situations when we don't convert. And you look at the Auburn game, a game that you have success in, you made some stops in the red zone to force them to field goals. And that was, that was critical in the first half there. But, we do play zone down there as well. And we have been rubbed a little bit, and that's part of it. We've got to do a better job coaching our guys of anticipating. Most teams run those routes the same way game after game. They very rarely change things up as far as how they get to it. They may change that up, but how they run it and who runs it normally is not a huge difference. We should have been pressed outside on the first touchdown in the game against Texas A&M because that's where the rub was always coming from. We didn't. We pressed inside and we played off outside, and that's why we got picked. So those things happen, and if they see it's a penalty, they're going to throw it. If they don't, then they won't. And that's just kind of, we explained to our guys, if they throw a flag for holding, it's holding. If they don't, it's not holding. So that's the way we look at it.
Colin Taylor?
Yeah, well, you kind of touched on Ole Miss's vertical passing game. It's kind of an explosive offense. You guys have had some struggles defensively in the secondary. Is it just, how do you kind of game plan for that? And is it just coaching it better? Kind of how do you address that situation going into this week?
Well, I think as much as anything, the vertical balls, we got to keep guys cut off down the field, whether we're in a quarters concept or whether we're in a middle field man or zone concept or whatever the case may be. Switch up coverages a little bit more to maybe give him a different look. You can affect the quarterback not only by rushing the passer, but changing the look for him for something he may expect and do something different, which we do a lot. We need to do in this ball game as well. So I think that those are all things that we can do to help ourselves and continue to mix man and zone and pattern match. But continue to mix those things up because, defensive football is like war. If you line up over and over again in the same spot, eventually, especially in the passing game, and they know the picture they're going to get, then you're going to probably get hurt. So we got to continue to mix things up and change the picture for him. That sometimes is difficult because of the tempo. You want to make sure you get your cleats in the dirt and line up and you cover down, you got your eyes in the right spot. And that's why a lot of the deception things that they create, especially with good skill people, create issues for you.
Dick Cox.
Can you talk about the opportunity of going on the road this Saturday and maybe hopefully getting your team away from any distractions they've got right now and just being coaches and players?
I'd love to be back in Williams-Brice Stadium playing again. That's where we want to play. But on the schedule, we're going to Oxford, so that's where we're headed.
Ben Briner?
Well, with how things have gone of late, and I guess kind of the mood that seems to be settling outside the building, does any part of you get worried about your own job security?
No.
Fair enough.
Any other questions for Coach? See anything? All right. That is a wrap
great
for
day.
today then.
Thanks, Will.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Okay. So not a lot coming from there, of course, as we all guessed. We got about 7 minutes. I am actually in the process of making a new t-shirt for you guys. It's going to be the Couch Coach Karen t-shirt. If anybody wants to embrace their title, Nick Muse thinks we're couch coaches and Karens, I will gladly wear one and rock it and embrace my titles. I just have some fun with it. Why not? Anyways, taking your questions, comments, calls. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Boom. Okay. Like I said, taking your questions, comments, calls, guys. If you do want to call in 843-790-3377, I think the phone lines are still open. Let me make sure. Yeah, phone lines are open. 843-790-3377. What questions do you guys have? What questions do you guys have in closing here? Again, if you have not tuned to the podcast today, episode 314, Alex McGrath and I, really, really good stuff. We had a phenomenal conversation. You guys be sure to check it out. Chris Davis, do you feel we have a chance to win another game this season? So Lou Holtz had a great saying, right? That things are never as good as you think they are, and they're never as bad as you think they are. I think realistically, probably winning one more. I could see this team winning one more game. Now, where does it come? I don't think it comes this weekend. I think Missouri is probably your best chance. I could see maybe the Gamecocks having having an inspired effort and beating Mizzou at home. But other than that, I doubt it. I doubt it. I don't know. So. Here we go. Taking a question here. Probably the last caller we'll take. Whoops. Yeah, what's up, man?
Hey, man, appreciate you taking my call. I don't want to beat a dead horse on like that, man, but I'm just curious. Do you think that obviously Muschamp is a really big politician and stuff, man, when it comes to the way he's answering these questions. But I can't help but focus on that last one, man, and hear. I'm sure I don't know what a head coach would say in the right scenario as far as, they're being worried about job security.
Mm.
But when he talks about talking to Tanner, I just genuinely believe, that they're hanging out every day, and like just really not worried about it. And I know that there's a lot of factors involved, man, as far as like buyouts and as far as, all this stuff in play, and you hear all the rumors and stuff, and I'm sure most of it's not true. But, I mean, do you believe that the friendship of the two of them is really, like, beyond the scope of employer to the point where, it is actually influencing the decision? And that's kind of where I'm at with it.
So
I feel like I picture them as being just BFFs, and they're just like, whatever, man. I'm not going to fire you no matter what because you're my buddy. And
well, first things first. I think that Muschamp is going to. He's not going to say anything. It's all going to be coach speak. He is leading still a group of men. He's trying to keep them together. You can't come out and be like, oh yeah, we've talked about my job on the line. He's trying to keep his team together. But how do I think the relationship is behind closed doors? I can tell you one thing. I don't think Castleton's a big fan of either one of them. And I'll just say I've talked to enough people that I've heard some things about their interactions where I don't think Castleton's a huge fan of either one of those guys. Now, the relationship between Tanner and Muschamp, they've known each other forever. I'm sure it's close. I would hope they keep it to a business relationship. And obviously you can be friends, but at the end of the day, obviously, right, it's a business. You have to make business decisions. I don't know, man. I'd hate to think they're sitting they're sitting in Will Muschamp's office with their feet kicked up, living in La La Land, not realizing what's going on.
It's just hard to imagine that's not the case, man. It's hard to imagine, like, just the demeanor they both have. They both seem like they're just long lost best friends. And
well, and
nothing would really keep that.
Yeah, I was just going to say, man, I'll tell you, I mean, because I've got, guys I've had on the show, and I've got buddies that I've talked with, obviously off the record that played baseball at South Carolina, and they know Ray Tanner really, really well. And obviously, when he was a baseball coach, he was a cuss. He was a mean cuss, right? I mean, he was known to be really, really tough on people and hard on his players. But, I was able to talk again with guys that played at Carolina, and they say Ray Tanner off the field and the Ray Tanner now, he's a people pleaser. He wants everybody to get along. You know what I mean? Like, he's not a ball buster. He's not a CEO. And that's why, again, I think I'm always careful when I go after, or that's why you don't hear me go after Ray Tanner a ton, because most people really don't know what an AD does day to day. And it's kind of hard to go at an AD other for than what have his hires done while at South Carolina. But that's my biggest thing with Tanner, as far as I love Tanner because I'm a big baseball guy, and obviously what he did on the baseball field. But no, I don't think Ray Tanner's cut out to be an AD. I don't think he's a ball buster. I don't think he's a fundraiser. I don't think he's a CEO. I don't think he's a guy that can make those tough decisions. I had Mike Gillespie, who's in the South Carolina media. He works for ABC Columbia. He talked about, he was covering the Florida Gators when Will Muschamp was there and when he got fired. And they talked about Jeremy Foley, who was their AD. And the way it went down at Florida was Jeremy Foley was sitting in Will Muschamp's chair in his office the Monday after they lost to South Carolina, and slid Muschamp the papers and said, hey, man, this ain't working out. We're going to go a different direction. And that was the conversation. Would Ray Tanner ever have the stones to do that? I don't know. You know what I mean? So
I watched the press conference the other day that when Muschamp got let go of Florida. And even then, man, I don't know if you've watched that recently at all, but even then in that press conference when he got let go, he doesn't sound disappointed. He's just like, well, the next guy's got some good players left here.
Right.
And, they're going to, thank him for me and that kind of thing. And I'm like, man, even whenever you're being let go, you still have it. And that's why I feel like I know it's unrealistic, man, and I know you're running short on time. But do you think there's even a slight possibility that if Tanner's let go, that they offer him to come back in the baseball capacity or something for? Because I think this is what he's meant to do.
Yeah, I think.
I'll hang up, man.
No, I appreciate the call, man. Thanks so much for the comments. No, thank you so much. I will say in closing, I think Tanner. I don't think Tanner's going back to the baseball field. I think he's done with baseball. If he had any desire to still coach baseball, he would have stayed in baseball and never left. I know that's a frustrating thing, and people ask that question all the time. But I think Ray Tanner is totally done with baseball. And yeah, I don't know. I think the more likely scenario is if South Carolina makes a move, they will get rid of Will Muschamp, and the whole Ray Tanner situation and the desire to get a new AD will not be met by fans. And I think they'll keep Tanner on for a couple more years. And they're not going to fire Ray Tanner. They're going to encourage him to step down, and they're going to get him to step down. But I don't see them firing Ray Tanner. So that's kind of at that. I don't know. I think the wild card in this and who it all comes back on is Bob Castle. That's who it all comes back on. So we'll see if he makes the move. But yeah, guys, in closing, appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you so much. Check out the podcast. Drop this morning, episode 314. Alex McGrath and I just breaking everything down from the A&M game to the coaching situation, the rumors, our potential head coaching candidates, who we like, who we see. We even talk some Masters. We even talk some golf. You guys be sure to tune in tomorrow, 12 to 1, and the rest of the week as well, the Daily Crew. Also, watch party Saturday at Overtime Bar and Grill. Doors open at 11 there, so if you want to get there early, watch football, you're more than welcome to. Pregame show 6:30 to 7, kickoff at 7:30. Going to be a really good time, guys. Thank you so much. Again, thank you for tuning in, and we will talk to you tomorrow, 12 to 1. Thanks so much.